So a while ago, I posted a video about a guy that was injuring all his female training partners, and I was kind of answering the question from a coach to another coach's standpoint. And a lot of you guys commented on that video saying that I wasn't preparing women for the real world. Like if the guy was outside that attacked her, he's not going to take it easy on her, and people in the gym shouldn't take it easier. And you're like, well, if women want equal whatever, then they need to go through the same stuff. So I wanted to do a sort of video to answer all the comments or sort of touch on them that you guys sent, because again, it's a lot to throw out there, and I don't want to have to go and answer every single one of them when I'm kind of saying the same thing. So the big thing first off is that in these videos, a lot of times I don't get into every little nook and cranny of a particular subject. It's a 5 to 7 minute video and a little bite-sized piece of information for you guys that you can take in and use. But again, it's not a full thing. And so in that situation, I was talking about a very specific problem with a guy that's injuring his female training partners. If it had been a guy or a female, because I've actually had that happen before where a woman was too rough and I actually had to get her to chill out. But if you had one of your training partners injuring your other training partners, the answer would been very similar, right? It's always to respect our training partners regardless of what gender they are, right? It's about taking care of each other so we can all get better together. Now, the thing though is that most of the time women come out of the box a little bit typically smaller. They're not typically as physically large or as strong as males typically. And they also don't typically feel so comfortable being that close to one another and wrestling around. Guys, they most of the time don't have too much trouble with it. Women, most of the time, don't really care for it in the beginning, and then they get, over time, it becomes okay. And so that's why I was talking about that particular subject, but it's always the same. You treat your male and female training partners the same. Now, some of you guys are saying, well, you're not preparing her for the street. What if some guy attacks her? The goal always with training, right, is to develop someone so that they can go full speed, full tilt, right, in a physical confrontation. If you think about combat sports and the training that we do, it's about inoculating ourselves to violence and to physical confrontation, right? It's about giving yourself a vaccine, medicine, so that over time you can build a tolerance to the things that might happen should you be in a physical situation where you have to protect yourself, right? That's pretty much what all combat sports are, what they really get down to. But you have to dose that out accordingly. You have to be smart about it. Because when I first started training as a white belt, I saw the ramifications of not training people in an intelligent fashion. Because here's what happens. You bring people in, okay, cool, man, come on in here. Here's how you do an arm bar from the guard. Awesome, bro. Okay, cool. Let's start rolling now. We're going to get ready to roll. Let's roll from the feet. And he's like, well, what does that mean, roll from the feet? Okay, he gets taken down. He doesn't know how to post his hand. Boom, he breaks his arm, right? Well, there goes that training partner. He could have been awesome at jiu-jitsu, but now he has to go to the hospital, and he's like, you know what? Jiu-jitsu is not for me. That happens a lot. So you have to be smart about it. You have people most of the time with jiu-jitsu, from what I've seen as, over a decade as a coach, there's people that are like me that are freaks. We, for some reason, just take to grappling. We like it. It's just like, yes, this is it. I have to do this. There are people that it doesn't matter how you box jiu-jitsu up or package it and give it to them, they're not going to like it. They're like, this just isn't for me. And then you have people that are somewhere in the middle, which is most people are somewhere in the middle where they get into it. And if you train them right, you can pull them over onto this side of the fence and make them into like jiu-jitsu holics, right? Jiu-jitsu addicts, where they have to have it. They love it. Right? I've seen so many people that did that path. And the way that you make that happen for people is you bring them up over time and take care of them and basically give them a nurturing about where you can build them up. Now, that said, we get down and we train hard, and sometimes we beat the crap out of each other. That said, a lot of times we'll take these newer people and build them up so that we have good training partners, right? I mean, for instance, Chad training with me. Like, Chad gives me a hell of a run now, right? He's as tough as they come as far as rolling training partners and competitors. He's a monster, right? But he wasn't always that way. Like, when Chad came in there as a young kid, 11 years old, what am I going to do? Smash him? Like, I'm not going to do that. I'm like, hey, man, let's exchange technique. Let's build you up so years later from now, you'll be pretty damn good. And again, now he's able to the point where he can submit me, and he's doing a hell of a job, and he's helping so many other people because he shares the sort of the ethos that I do, which is pretty much all of our higher belts, which is like, look, someone came up and helped me up, so now that I'm up here, hey, let me help you guys up too, and then it just works the way down, and we pull each other up together. As I grow, they grow. As they grow, we all grow. That's the point. Not the point to your job in jiu-jitsu is not to smash any of your training partners needlessly. It's about doing so in a directed fashion. So with training, we train in an intelligent way where when the new people come in, they only train certain positions depending on the techniques that they were working, right, over time, and then we graduate them to more advanced training. And there's times where we roll hard and we do competition training, and then there's times where we just roll and have a good time with each other. But regardless of male or female, we're going to take care of our training partners. And I wanted to throw this out there too, that I have women in the gym that can beat the brakes off of guys, right? I have this woman who just recently had this guy, he's about 195, pretty athletic kid, wrestled before. And he was talking about this woman named Sarah in the gym. And Sarah is a sweetheart. She's 135 pounds. She's in great shape, and she's got some pretty good arms on her, probably about as big as mine, right? She takes care of herself and does all that stuff. But she was rolling with him, and this young guy was like, man, she was just tough, so strong, technical. I couldn't do anything to her, and it was insane, right? So we have women in the gym that have it within their capability to beat a man. That's not the problem. It just takes more time for them because, again, when they come into jiu-jitsu, they're sort of in the hole physically, so it takes time for them to build up that strength and that natural grabbing strength so they can build that up, and then getting used to being that close to a man, right, and being all right with that. It takes time for them to do that, and a lot of times because they're physically smaller, it's the same case it is with like physically smaller guys. It takes a little bit more time for you to adjust your techniques to work against a larger person because it's more difficult. It's a much more difficult situation. So whether you're male or female, if you're in that situation where you're physically smaller and weaker, it's tough to do. So it takes more time to get those techniques adapted for those situations. So our goal, again, in my thinking, is when we have these people, instead of smashing them needlessly, right? Hey, I will build you up a little. I'm going to give you some openings, or I'm going to like engage a little bit more with you, so this way you can build yourself up, and eventually I'm going to have myself an awesome training partner who I will then have to go harder with because we built them up. So I wanted to touch on the comments from you guys and sort of just answer that question. Not really a question, it's more of just touching on the subject again for some of you guys that left those comments. And guys, as always, appreciate the comments. Even if you disagree with me, I appreciate the comments. And I appreciate all the questions and support. So I'll talk to you guys next time.